Good evening and welcome to another episode of Healthy Life, Health Outreach. My name is Julius Guano, member of Health Outreach and Research Director, Health Outreach Liberia. Today, on our new episode, we are going to be discussing fibroid and how it affects our lives and how it affects our female counterparts. Our female listeners and viewers are hereby directed to listen to this episode on a discussion. We say the first thing we have to know is what is fibroid, and then the definition for this is fibroid are non-cancerous growth that develop in the muscular cell wall of the womb or the uterus, you can call it. Fibroids are abnormal growth that develop in or on the uterus. Sometimes these tumors become quite large and cause severe abdominal pain and heavy periods. In most cases, they cause no sign or symptom at all. Fibroid is a very life-threatening disease that affects the uterus, which we refer to as the womb. And it is non-cancerous. It is not something that can cause cancer. Okay, we'll go furthermore. The growths are typically benign or non-cancerous, like I said before. The cause of fibroid is unknown. Nobody knows what is the cause of fibroid. Fibroid are also known by the following names. They have 5 different ways they can call fibroids. They call it the uterine fibroid, the fibromas, the myomas, the heliomas, etc., etc., etc. There might be more, but there are 5 names that I'm aware of. Although there are additionally 7 or 8 names that they have been called. They got a uterine myomas, they got a leiomas, whatsoever you may call it. But for the knowledge of us and then for us to understand, we'll break it down to 5, which is the uterine fibroid, the fibromas, the myomas, the leiomas. Those are the 5 types of fibroids that they are called. And then symptoms of fibroids, like we said, most of the time they don't produce symptoms, but sometimes due to the severity of the infection, you will see some symptoms will come out. Like for the female, many people don't know that they have fibroid because they don't have any symptom. Fibroid sometimes is asymptomatic. They don't show sign or symptom at times, but we listed some symptoms here that if it happened to you, you should know that there's a likely case that you are infected with fibroid and then you need to seek medical attention. And some symptoms here is the heavy period, heavy blood flow of menstruation, time of menstruation, you see too much blood at times. And then sometimes the period, it looks so painful. Whenever you are receiving, your stomach hurt a lot and the period is so painful. Then you got pain in your tummy, which is the anus. When you go do, either you go urinate or you stool, you got pain in the anus. And then pain in the lower back a frequent need to urinate, you urinate more frequently. And constipation. When we say constipation is the tightness, the congestion of stool within the stomach, like hardness of stool, that is constipation. Sometimes you go take a shit and then you see that the stool is very hard and it is difficult to come out. This is one symptom of fibroid. And then pain or discomfort during sex, Whenever you are having sex with your partner, you experience discomfort or you have some pain during the sex, and then some symptoms that are affecting your day-to-day life, that is like fever, headache, those are other symptoms. So we'll go to the reason for which fibroid develop. Why fibroid develop? It is unclear why fibroid develop. A couple of different factors may influence their formation. One is the hormone. The ovary produces estrogen and progesterone. These hormones cause the uterine lining to regenerate during menstrual cycle and stimulate the growth of fibroid. Hormones is one thing that also lead to why fibroid develop, because in the woman have two gene that it produces, which is the estrogen and the progesterone, and these hormones, they cause the uterine lining to regenerate during each menstrual cycle and stimulate the growth of fibroid. Sometimes another cause of why fibroid develop is family history. Fibroid may run in the family. If your mother, sister, or grandmother has a history of this condition, you may develop it as well. Yes, it is also generational. Sometimes the great grandmother has fibroid and then the mother don't have fibroid, but then you should know that one day either the great grandchildren, one of them, will come down with this fibroid because family history. And then there are types of fibroids that we are going to be naming here today. Some of you may not know. If today you have to know, this is just a tip of help, so that when you see it in the future, you will seek medical attention quick. So the first one is the intramural fibroid. On our list here, we have different types of fibroids here. Intramural fibroids. Intramural fibroids are the most common type. They appear within the muscular wall of the uterus. Intramural fibroids may grow larger and can stretch your uterus. It can grow very wide and large, and then it stretch the uterus, it stretch the size of the womb, and it makes it looks like as if you are pregnant. Sometimes people see you out there and say, oh, this girl is pregnant, they get, maybe she not take family planning, she's pregnant, and then or something. They will just conclude, but they will not know what is the cause. But then today you must know, whenever you see that you are not pregnant and you are not on planning, and then you see your stomach just start to grow, seek medical attention. It might be intramural fibroids. And then we go to the subserosal fibroids. Subserosal fibroids from on the outside of your uterus, which is called the serosa. They may grow large enough to make your uterus appear bigger on one side. Sometimes you see the stomach, one side of the stomach is very big, and then the other side is very flat. Then you should know that there is a subserosal fibroids that is affecting that side of the stomach. And then we have the pedunculated fibroid. Pedunculated fibroids, unlike subserosal fibroids, it can develop a stem, a slender base that supports the tumor. When they do, they are known as pedunculated fibroids. Then we got a submucosal fibroid. This type of tumor develop in the momentum, the middle muscle layer of your uterus. Submucosal tumor are common as other type. They are not common, they are very severe, and they develop in the middle muscle of your uterus, the middle part of the uterus, and then they are not to be taken for granted. Then we get a cervical fibroid. The cervical fibroid develop on the cervix, which connect the uterus to the vagina. They are also rare. They are very, very rare. They hardly happen. And then cervical fibroids are unlikely to happen in the woman, the female reproductive system. But unlike all of it, the intramural fibroids that makes you look like you are pregnant and then you are not, and then the subserosal fibroid, which is called serosa, the pedunculated fibroids, and then we have the cervical fibroid, we have the submucosal fibroid. Please see your healthcare provider if you are experiencing any of the above symptoms that we just listed at first, which is the heavy period, the painful period, the tummy or abdominal pain, the lower back pain, the frequent need to urinate, constipation, pain or discomfort during sex, sometimes some symptoms which are affecting your day-to-day life, like fever, like headache. Those are all symptoms of fibroid. So when you're experiencing those kind of health issues, you should seek the medical attention. Then we'll go to, there are certain way to classify fibroid. We have what is called a cystic fibrosis. When you hear the big word cystic fibrosis, what it means? Cystic fibrosis is an inherited condition in which the lungs and digestive system can become clogged with thick, sticky mucus. Thick and sticky liquid can clog the digestive system and the lungs. It can clog it. That is cystic fibrosis. When it grows over time, it creates that type of thick mucus within you. It can cause problems with breathing and digestion from a young age. It can make you to have difficulties in breathing, and then it also aid in the digestion of your food you intake. Over many years, the lungs become increasingly damaged and may eventually stop working properly if you don't treat this cystic fibrosis. And then many years passes by, and then you don't treat it. If it left untreated, it can cause the damage to the liver, and then it can also lead to your demise. So some symptoms of cystic fibrosis could be recurring chest infection, difficult putting on weight, frequent wet sounding cough, diarrhea, occasional wheezing and shortness of breath. Those are the symptoms of cystic fibrosis. Just know that people with the condition can also develop a number of related conditions, including diabetes, thin, weakness of bone, or osteoporosis, or refers to as osteoporosis, the weakened bones. People with weakened bones and liver problems such as hepatitis and so forth. But if you experience such symptoms, and then you need to seek medical attention. People with the condition can also develop a number of related conditions, like I said previously. What is the cause of cystic fibrosis? What causes cystic fibrosis, and then how it can replicate within the body? Cystic fibrosis is caused by a faulty gene that a child inherits from both of their parents. Is a health issue that a child that is being born inherited from both of the parents. It might not be visualized in the parent day-to-day activities or in the parent sickness chart, but the child can inherit those genes because they might not be dominant. They are recessive in the parent, but it might be dominant within the child. The faulty gene means that some cells struggle to move salt and water across the cell wall. This, along with recurring infection, can result in a build-up of thick, sticky mucus in the body tubes and passageway. To be born with cystic fibrosis, a child has to inherit 2 copies of this faulty gene, one from each of their parents their parents will not usually have the condition themselves because they will only carry one faulty gene and one that works normally. You see, one gene there is at fault and then one works normally. It may not show within the parents, but it might be very, very dominant in a child, and a child must inherit that copy of the faulty gene from one of the parents. Most cases of cystic fibrosis are now detected soon after birth through the newborn blood test. Sometimes they do blood tests on the newborn baby and they take blood from the heel and then carry in the lab for testing. More tests will be needed to confirm the diagnosis, such as the sweat test to measure the amount of salt in the sweat, as the sweat of someone with cystic fibrosis has higher level of salt than normal. Then they will run genetic tests where a sample of your blood or saliva is checked for the faulty gene that causes cystic fibrosis. Thank you for listening. Health Outreach. My name is Julius Kwanu. Better health, better life. Health for one, health for all. Health Outreach. See you again next time. Bye bye.